Bonjour, and welcome back to the French campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. It is time for yet another excursion into the Caribbean. This time, we're not facing... Okay, we're facing some outdated ships. Most of these are actually quite outdated. But we're also facing two very modern ships. These two Constellation class battlecruisers that are probably superior to anything I have in this task force. Now, we do have two of the Rene Magritte, not dreadnought battleships, but the 14-inch guns on these are actually quite a bit superior. They can go through my armor at longer ranges than I can go through theirs, despite my ships being battleships and theirs being battlecruisers. That's just how it works out. We are outnumbering the enemy, though, for a change. This is not a huge enemy fleet. So, yeah, let's get to it. Now, luckily for us, even if these battlecruisers are quite powerful, that battleship is probably the worst type of battleship in the entire US Navy. It's some kind of ironclad thing, for lack of a better word. Yeah, it's an ironclad thing. It's got 9-inch guns, Mark 1s. Let's see about my destroyers and torpedo boats. These all have the refit with the 7-kilometer torpedoes. So that's good. And torpedo boats almost start lined up in a squadron of 4. There we go. Not a lot of finicking to make them line up this time. Now, how easy it's going to be to... oh, we also have a light cruiser. Forgot about you. You were probably supposed to stay in port. But here you are. Now, how easy it's going to be to torpedo the enemy battlecruisers, which is kind of what I'm planning to do. That depends on if they are following the battleship or sailing around on their own. If they're sailing around doing, what is it, like 26, 27 knots, it's going to be very hard to catch up with and torpedo them. If they're just following that 15-knot battleship thing, that will make things much easier. They are, of course, spotting me. Those battlecruisers have pretty decent tower spotting. And I do not. Nothing I can build at the moment has decent tower spotting. No, actually, no. My own battlecruisers, I think, have something decent. Some decent towers. So, there we are, Ticonderoga. 18.5 kilometer AP range. And at 17,000 they can go through like 15 inches of armor. My battleships have... actually the pre-dreadnoughts have a little bit more than 15 effective. The not dreadnoughts have, I think it is exactly 15. You're one of them, right? Yeah. That is exactly 15. 6-inch inner main belt, inner citadel belt times 2.5. That's 15. So last time we fought these battlecruisers, I was able to score some decent hits on them with my own battleships, inflicting some flooding. That made it easier for the torpedo boats to catch up and torp them. They're going at 16.4 knots. that is suggesting to me that they have a slow-ass tiny ironclad battleship in front of them that they're following. I also saw that Juno was in this task force. There she is. She badly crippled one of my light cruisers. In a previous battle. Let's see here. Danton. You're going for Constellation. You're not in range yet, but that is your target. Vercingetorix, you are going for Juno. Magenta, you are going for Long Beach. All secondaries. Target torpedo boat. Right. Right, we are. Of course, now the targets went invisible. Vercingetorix, you can then target Long Beach. And there is the tiny, very slow battleship that the battlecruisers are following. The best course of action for me now is to ignore that battleship. Do not shoot it, because if it sinks, those battlecruisers will be accelerating. And that is actually one of my torpedo boats, or one of my designs, rather. And the 14-inch shells are hitting my battleships. We also really need to be sinking Juno. There we go. Because Juno has some pretty long-range torpedoes. Actually, we can just ignore Long Beach. Long Beach is not a threat to anyone. Spokane short-range torps. Tacoma 2.7, Montgomery 2.7. Juno has 4.8 and almost has range on us. Vercingetorix has taken a lot of beating from those battlecruisers. Might have to pull her out of line. We're now in torpedo range. This one specific light cruiser has caused me a lot of trouble before, and she continues to do so. Tower hit on Ticonderoga. Our torpedoes are launching. Vercingetorix is the one being targeted. No. That is Danton. Can we avoid that? Maybe. Vercingetorix, you are detaching. You two are now rejoining Danton. There we go. Could have been much uglier with that torps from Juno. Thought she had like 5 per side, but I guess I was wrong. That torp gonna continue on and hit Opinop? Shit. I thought maybe speeding up would be the best course of action here to avoid, but that seemed to have been the wrong choice. Yeah, we're gonna take that torp. It was a dud though. Lucky. Let's get rid of this light cruiser stuff before going back to targeting the big ships. Speaking of, we are almost in range here. These are very outdated old light cruisers. They're not a big threat. You target Constellation. You target Constellation. You target Ticonderoga. You target Ticonderoga. And we are ignoring Colorado. Here comes more torpedoes. Too late to dodge that. Bjorn will take one. Engine damage. Okay, are we still targeting what I told you to target? BC. BC. Yes. You don't carry that many torps per destroyer, but... the last two are not in range. We're gonna have to bring them in closer. While the first two that launched escape. Hopefully alive. 301. More tropes coming in. We've got the torpedo boats here too. They carry a lot more torps per boat. Juno goes down, finally. It just took a whole squadron of battleships and armored cruisers, but the Nemesis cruiser is sunk. We can consider that some kind of a victory. It looks, however, like Constellation will not be eating torpedoes tonight. Ticonderoga might. One dud. We're gonna get some live torps on you, Tycho. One with an ammo detonation. Good hit. So that was one torpedo hit, but it was a good one. Armored cruisers, you can take on Long Beach. My battleships. Let's see, Bairn over Tycho. Destroyers are getting away. Chatrenon, I don't want you sunk here. That was a meaty hit on Tycho. That one torpedo blew up a bunch of ammunition. And also the main tower. We got more fish for you. Maybe Bairn should detach. Bairn can join. There is Vercingetorix. There you are. You're both damaged. Vercingetorix and Bairn. Ticonderoga. Danton and Magenta. Target Constellation. It is time for more torpedoes. Let's see, let's have the last two detach. And head straight for Constellation. The first two, you can just launch now, I think. Are you in range? T11, almost. We've already scored torpedo hits on Ticonderoga. T10 is launching. T9 is coming in closer. Dumping torps. And breaking off. More torpedo hits on Ticonderoga, and that is one dead battlecruiser. Now, is the wreck of Ticonderoga gonna... yeah, there she goes. Gonna shield Constellation. No. There you go, the impending doom. One hit. Most of the torps are gonna miss though, but if you throw enough torpedoes at the wall, Vercingetorix and Bairn, you are now very slow. Danton and Magenta, you can speed up. Kick these armored cruisers into gear as well. The Russian one, the one that the game didn't delete. But yeah, this one has actually a little bit more speed than my own. And bigger guns, though they're only Mark II. Constellation did not like those torpedoes. He's lashing out. Looking for some kind of revenge. But now you can no longer run. Not from my battleship. Well, maybe from these two battleships, but not from these two battleships. Danton and Magenta. Actually gonna detach Magenta as well, because she's slightly faster than Danton. And can go at 20 knots. I don't think I can make it in time to save T9. Oh, there she goes. No flooding. Ah, wait. Under control? 7, 9, 7, 9. Nah. T9 went down, but what a sacrifice. He scored 2 torpedo hits. I think those were 2 on Constellation. Maybe we're just counting some of the torps that hit Tycho after she went down. There's that little battleship as well. We are still kind of just ignoring that thing. Because Constellation is the more dangerous ship. Could probably bring those guns to bear if pointed straight at us. We are slowing you down to cruising speed. These two back here, they can target the battleship. we have some light cruisers there as well. There we go. Main belt pens being scored on Constellation from Danton at 6 kilometers. Which, yes, that should be possible at this range. 63% armor quality. Is that like a ship flaw? That might be it, because that should have been 70. Oh, and Colorado goes down to secondary fire from Magenta. Yeah, 6.1 and 7.4 inch fire. She'd taken some damage before though, so maybe she wasn't at full crew strength. I didn't check. And there goes Constellation. More main belt pens. From Magenta, actually. So, sank 2 dangerous battlecruisers and the Juno, the Nemesis of the North Sea. PB Colorado is on fire. Yeah, scuttling charges, I guess. Are you running from me? You're attempting to run. Sadly, you are slower than my pre-dreadnought battleship Magenta. Well, sadly for you. Mobile takes secondary tower hit. And Aniston takes some flooding. As Magenta comes charging in. That is a scary sight for an outdated light cruiser. This floating fortress of a pre-dreadnought with all the different calibers of guns just blasting away. There we go. Good penetrating hits. And that is Addison executed. And Mobile. Is it Mobile or Mobile? When it's, you know, probably the city in Alabama it's named after, not something that moves. Anyway, that is a win. We did aid some torpedoes to our battleships, but that's just classed as light damage. The structure damage was not too bad, so only casualty was one torpedo boat, and I can very comfortably live with that. Now, we need to actually get this task force into the Caribbean, so we can start some naval invasions. Otherwise, the Americans will just decide that the war is over. And I'm not quite ready for that yet. 21,000 tons, that is a dreadnought. That is a dreadnought. They had one armored cruiser somewhere of 14,000 tons. I'm not sure if that's just a Norfolk that's horribly overweight, or if it's something bigger. No, this is two armored cruisers, 29,000 tons. So evidently they've got some big ones. Can we see if they've like launched something big this month? No. They're building 11 new ships, repairing 23. Yeah, because they're fighting someone else as well. They're fighting Argentina, Denmark, and Belgium. So that's where they're getting a lot of damaged ships from. And they're doing a lot of naval invasions down here against Argentina. I'm not totally opposed to just letting them have that. Am I friendly with the Argentines? Yes. We are almost allied. Yeah, that's right. Of course, they've been begging me for an alliance for a while now, and not gonna give it to them. But if they're gonna be that friendly, I kind of feel like I have to somehow help them out. So let's see if we can send something here to defend Uruguay from the naval invasion. Like this task force, which is almost ready. It's not the biggest task force, but it's capable. They're down one battleship. It's being repaired here in Pointe-à-Pitre. Let's leave the light cruisers and torpedo boats in port. Light cruisers and two of the DDs, I meant. There we go. You're still being repaired. We got some free shipbuilding capacity now. A lot of the stuff that was being repaired has now been repaired. Hang on. What am I doing here? Have I lost the plot? Did I forget the whole reason for this unit to exist? Of course, they're the ones going here. They're ready now. They've had the refit. So this whole unit, they can stay in port. Yeah, of course, the battlecruisers should be the ones going down here. And reacting to the invasion of Uruguay. And we'll have to see if the destroyers might have to detach from the task force if they start running out of fuel, gunning down the Atlantic here. I'm pretty sure the battlecruisers have enough range. Can I naval invade now? Yes! I can. Let's take Puerto Rico. I was not sure if this task force was actually in the Caribbean, but apparently, yes. San Juan. Right. Research-wise, we just got Krupp 1. We are getting Mark III 13s. We're getting some advanced battlecruisers. Yeah, we're getting new battlecruisers as well. In 4 months. Let's go to 1909. No thank you, Belgium. No thank you, Argentina, even if I'm actually helping you out. Frederick, 1907. This time I think I'm very outdated here. But we're gonna have to fight you. We got 2 double 10-inch guns. Yeah, those gotta be Mark IIs, right? It's a 1907 design. I think some of the ones I've built from that same era are... maybe not. I've built some that I was able to fit into an ABXY type of layout. So they had more main guns. But the hulls I used for that had really bad tower options. Right to the southwest. And this thing, I'm not sure. Does it have like really good towers? I don't remember. We could, of course, just try and run away from the start. Paysans will not make it, though. The enemy armored cruiser went 22 knots. So Koof could run away. But we could also... only 2.7 kilometer torps. Yeah, we're being outspotted. Outspotted by a much bigger ship. That typically means better tower. I mean, we got some good guns, though, on this thing. Oh, some decent guns. Let's take a look at what we're up against. That is a big boy armored cruiser. 90 million. I'd say this is equal-ish to my I forget the name, the big armored cruisers I built. Yeah, Mark II 10-inch guns. Yeah, you can just slice straight through the armor on my armored cruiser. 10-inch main belts. I cannot go through your main belts. Your torpedoes outrange me. I think it is time to skedaddle. this one being slower cannot make it if pursued. So I'm gonna have to make sure that Koof is the one being followed. Well, this thing has done so much good stuff for me in the Caribbean the last couple of months. I was lucky. They're not coming within torpedo range, I think. Let's just smoke up. If they start scoring flooding hits on Surcouf, we can no longer run away. There you are. We're doing 21.4 knots. And there we are. We are out of your range. Yeah, the Victor Hugo would have a hard time dealing with this. I think we could though. We got Mark III 10-inch guns on those, which are better than what they have. And we actually have similar armor. They are faster though. Are we getting to the end option soon? Yes. Escaped. Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger boat. %. What do you have here? United States. One light cruiser. Oh, they're heading down here with that big battleship force. Fuel. 66%. It's not terrible. But let's see. Sweden has taken northern Finland. Are they in the they are in danger of losing eastern Sweden to the Dutch. We can move this force back into Shanghai. And two of the ships belonged here in Singapore. Get them reorganized. Then maybe send a force from Asia into... Let's do an incursion into the Pacific, actually. Next month, once the Shanghai force reorganizes here, we're just going to send them... Maybe take Pearl Harbor. That would be funny. I mean, that would be very strategically important. Yeah, so we're going to have to fight a much bigger force here. But, actually, no, this meeting, we can do this one now. I was about to say I would have to wait until next episode, but this should be quick. And as I often do in these kind of matchups, I sent most of the task force home. And I'm just using the two not dreadnoughts. Here is the Belknap. With its 17 inches of main belt armor of wrought iron, apparently. We're firing HE at it. I think AP would probably be better. Let's just close in and see if the ships change on their own. There we go. Central line turrets have changed. Switched. Yeah, there we go. Firing AP. Not hitting much in this weather. Let's turn off those secondaries, just making noise. 6-7 kilometers. Score a main belt partial pen. And we score a main belt pen. And another 2 main belt pens. And I think that's it for Belknap. And one more, just for good measure. Nice. That was probably a ship that had been auto sent to port for repair after a battle at some point. And that's why it was out alone. And here we go with the Battlecruisers. What are they gonna meet next episode? Well, they're in luck. They're just gonna punch some puppies with these old ironclads. That apparently that was like most of the American battleship fleet. That was very old ironclads. Tough luck for them. Chipotle, that's another 1890 design. So this and that other huge task force that we sank, just purely made out of 1890s design that should have been retired. Yeah. This is... we're not going to be able to sink them all. We don't have the ammo, but we're definitely not losing this one. But that's for next time. Goodbye, and take care.